Welcome back once again to Jack's Tech Corner. I'm your host Jack, and this is a video tutorial of using Photoshop Elements. If you enjoy this video at the end, please stop over to jackstechcorner.com and look at all the DVDs I have available for you. A lot of great video tutorials are packed on these DVDs, and they're only, as the intro says, $15 each, or you can buy a 2-disc set for $27. You're going to save a couple dollars on the 2-disc set, and you're going to save $2 in shipping. So that's $4 savings. That's pretty substantial today. But I'm sure you'll enjoy the DVDs. For you Mac viewers out there, there is a Mac DVD, and I'm very surprised that it's not a large seller. The Mac DVD doesn't really move, so if you're a Mac person, pick up a copy of the Mac DVD. I'm sure you'll be impressed, especially if you're picking up the new iPhoto 09. There's a lot of cool tips in there to kind of get you going. And Element 6, because that's what we're currently using on the Mac. Thanks to everybody that's been purchasing the Green Screen Wizard from Ken. I'm really happy that everybody's really happy with the software. I've been getting a lot of emails that says, Jack, this Green Screen Wizard is fantastic. And I tell you, it's good software. It's solid. Ken has been a long-time supporter of the show, and I'm glad that he's around to write software like that, because I know I couldn't do something like that, and it saves me a lot of time when I'm shooting green screen. If you're going to pick up Ken's Green Screen Wizard, go to my website, jackstechcorner.com, click on the graphic, and then go to Ken's site. That helps to support the show. Helps to pay for website hosting and everything else, the equipment, and everything else that goes along with the show. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started with today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, it was actually brought to you by Dennis. And how's that possible? I know I'm recording it, but Dennis, you started this whole thing of saying, Jack, I'd like to have this video, so I'm going to go ahead and create this for you. Jack, basically I followed your example of changing backgrounds. I have added a photo, and using the magic wand have selected and deleted the sky in the photo. However, I want to change the sky in the photo using another photo of a nice, pretty blue sky with puffy clouds. How do I use another photo as a layer? Well, Dennis, that's a great question, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, with that said, the first thing I had to do was find a blue sky with puffy clouds. 2 ways you can do that. One is take your camera outside, aim it up towards the sky, and shoot a couple shots. Put those on your computer, and you can use those. 2, do it the lazy man out, and go to Google, type in blue sky, and click on images, and this is what you come up with. Now what I like to do every time I use Google Images, it defaults to all image sizes. Do at least large images, because then you make sure you have enough resolution to play with when you're cutting these things apart and cropping them. This is the blue sky I selected. There's some puffy white clouds, so I clicked on that. Now don't just right click on here and save this, or don't just right click, don't just right click on here and save it. Click on the See Full Image. Right click and do a Save Image As. At that point I have it on the desktop and I saved it as blue sky. Now Dennis, with that, here is a picture that I took some years back at a local amusement park. When we got to the amusement park, it was a beautiful sunny day. It looked like it was going to be a wonderful day for the kids to ride the rides and have a good time. But by 12 or 1 o'clock, we were hit with what we thought was a tornado, what the weather forecasters call a microburst. Kind of unusual in the Pittsburgh region. But, you know, we do get bad weather occasionally. We have a lot of hills, though. So sometimes when we get a storm or a heavy wind, it gets concentrated in one spot in a low valley. That's where this amusement park is. It did take out a lot of trees, and it made the park a mess. It even took one ride, and it collapsed it on several people. So it was a really, really bad scene, and I hope never to live through that again. And I'm sure people have lived through worse, and I'm very sorry for you folks, because I know it's really scary. So anyway, with that said, I wanted a picture with kind of a grayish sky, because I want to use that picture that we actually downloaded. I'm going to close this out here. That we actually downloaded so we can actually fix this picture. Now, here's how we can get started. we could go to File and Open, and we go to Desktop, and then we can open the blue sky. To me, that's an awful lot of steps, because I can just simply left click on my desktop on the blue sky file and just drop it right on to the editor. Now you see down here I have them both open. When you do that, the picture comes up as a separate image or a separate layer, right? Because now if we click on this one, we have this layer, and if we move this down and we click on this one, we have this layer. So Dennis, the first thing we have to do is, how do we get this onto this as a new layer? Here, very simple. Let's select all of this, select our move tool, pull this off to the side a little bit, and we are going to move this right onto here. Alright, once we get that moved, we can go back to this original and just minimize it. At that point, we're just going to take this new sky, we're just going to move it over this way. We're going to raise this up. Now I want to raise it up just to the skyline, right? That's all we need. That'll give us some nice puffy clouds, and we're just going to work with the top of this picture. We don't need to work with the bottom, because the bottom is the bottom. We're not going to do anything with it. Click the little check box. Now, everybody knows me that's been watching these shows for a while. I always duplicate the background layer. But for this tutorial, I'm going to make it a little easier on you. Just double click it and it will unlock this layer and give it a name. Layer 0. Now, with that done, now we have to trick Photoshop Elements, because you know ordinarily Elements does not have a mask that we can just click on, a tool and put a mask down. So we've done this before, but what we're going to do is just select that layer, click here, and go to Levels. Don't adjust any levels, just click OK. And then the levels is up, and we're going to use the mask here. So do a Control I, right? There we go. And that will make that black. We'll fill it with black. Now I want you to click on this layer, layer 1, and do a Control G. Or on the Mac, it's a Command G. You can see here, we just took that and we basically hid that layer because it's hidden behind this black. Now with that done, we want to click back on this mask, grab a brush tool, revert this back. If you paint with black, it's not going to do anything, right? So you're going to have to flip this right here. So you flip that, and you're going to have to paint with white. And as you start painting, you're going to start revealing that new sky. This way, Dennis, you're not deleting anything, or you're not trying to delete the background. Now, as you go around these trees, maybe you want to lower your opacity down a little bit to try to make it easier to go around these trees here. So the trees will still come through. Your sky will still be seen. Sometimes I like to lower the opacity even more and try to play within here. So your trees are still seen through there. You may even get it a little lower. Right through here. That way the blue's coming through, but the trees are still there. This right here needs to be actually fixed a little bit. We can undo the brush tool a couple times. Or the other way is Control Z, right? You can take some of that off. Raise the opacity up just about 20. Let's go back over these a little bit. That way, like I said, the blue's coming through, and we don't have to worry too much about going over these trees because we're not going to be getting real harsh on the color. Same with around this tower. Right up to the sky here. And if you find it's not perfect for you, you can actually go and you can raise it opacity up a little bit. But I'm pretty comfortable with that. That looks pretty good. Maybe I'll go over these wires here, and as well as go over the roller coaster. So we can just do it that way. That doesn't look too bad. Now you can raise your opacity back up some To me, it's almost like when they give you a haircut. You know how they taper your hair? Guys out there anyway. You can change the opacity up a little bit and make this a little darker here. Something like this. We're just going to taper this in a little bit at a time here. Right? Like that. Then we'll go to full opacity and we can do the top up here so it matches the other side. Maybe want to go back over this a little bit. And you're just going to have to work with this a little bit until you get it all worked in there. Maybe we do want to come over here and get this a little darker. Just like so. But the puffy clouds are still shown through here now. They look a little better. I do have my Wacom or Wacom pad out, so I can lower this down. And I can actually come in here and maybe I can do a little bit in here. Just by using the pen and tablet. A lot of people have been emailing me about these tablets. If you're from Wacom, by all means, I like to test out some of your bamboo tablets, which I have not picked up yet. Alright, just like that. Just get right down through here like this. Remember, folks, when you're working with these masks, this way, and you can see here how I got over the tower a little bit. Just come down here and flip this back and go over that a little bit with painting it black. Here's what's going to happen. Right? Black will reveal that tower. We can shine that tower right back up again. Okay, there you go. Let's go down here and reveal some of this. There. Now we have a much bluer sky. We didn't have to select and delete anything. We didn't delete the background. See if I can show you the original. And this is the new. Original. New. That's the original. And that is the new. Right? Original and new. Now when you save this out, a lot of people are getting confused with this. I get so many emails with this each week. When you're actually doing this, when you're actually setting this all up here and you're saving this, if you think you're going to come back in here and work on this again, save this as a PSD file. It's really, really easy. So you see here, it defaults to that, Photoshop PSD. The reason we're going to do that is we're going to save the layers. See, you should select that. Save the layers so we can come back in here and work. If you're going to send this off to be developed, go down here to JPEG. JPEG. Okay? You would give it a name. You save it in the version set with the original if you wish. Totally up to you. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. It doesn't really matter. That's a personal choice. So that is how you would save them out. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial on creating a bluer sky. And back to Dennis. Thank you, Dennis, so much for the questions about this. I'm really, really happy you did. I hope this video helps you. And as soon as I get this published, Dennis, I will email you first and let you know that it's up on YouTube, ready for you to view. Thanks to everybody, and until next time, keep those cameras. See, that's a live video, and it's not scripted. Keep those cameras, shutters clicking. Keep the editors editing, and you'll learn a lot of neat tricks. This is a great tool. It's a lot of fun. My name is Jack. Once again, stop by jackstechcorner.com. I'm planning a site rewrite, so I'm looking at new things I can do with my website to make it more interesting for you to come visit when you're not watching videos. And if you're a social networking person and you've made it to the end of the show, stop by jackstechcorner.ning.com and join up there on Ning and social gathering with us. You can also look for me on Twitter. I'll try to get the Twitter name back up on the website. So if you're a Twitter fan, I'm starting to learn more and more about Twitter. It's pretty cool. I could